Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're specifically going to talk about BECMI Dungeons & Dragons. All right, so 5e, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, is my jam, right? I love 5th edition. I think it's the best edition that's ever existed because it has everything Gary created with improvements of every edition within Gary Gygax's legacy. So, like, D&D 1e has it. If you think D&D 1e has Gary Gygax's energy only, you really ain't paying attention. He spent about 3 years in Hollywood in the middle of 1e, right? So no edition had Gary Gygax's full attention. Not even the original box, right? Which I think was, I can never remember if it's a white box or a brown box. But like, one of the things is he was getting money, right? Like, he was actually also, not only was he dealing with the rules, but he was dealing with the business side. That's why I thoroughly dislike Arneson. If it would have been left up to Dave Arneson, Dungeons & Dragons would have been a thought that had been scribbled on a notepad and would have never, and might have been played by a couple of people and would have disappeared into the ether, right? Gary accepted every problem of Dungeons & Dragons being a reality and treated it like a business and grew it. He put this plant in rich, verdant black soil. He watered it. He planted it. He watered it. He grew it. Arneson did nothing but flap his gums. He literally didn't even write anything down, right? Like, before the thing came to reality. Gary did all of that too, right? Like, so every edition has more. Every Dungeons & Dragons edition that is printed in hardback has more of Gary's energy, right? Not just the energy when he was alive, but his dead energy. That's a very real thing. And if you think I'm wrong, go look at Marvel Studios, who literally just bought Stan Lee as a thing, right? Like, the idea that your contributions are over when you're dead is a laughable concept in America now. If you're an American celebrity, you impact life far beyond your death, perhaps more when you're dead, right? So Dungeons & Dragons is creating the best old school rules product that has ever existed. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is about to put the OSR crown on its head. Old school rules, right? And it is printing Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, which will be a better OSR product than has ever been made by the entire OSR community, right? And the reason why is it'll have the best OSR minis in it ever. And it will bring OSR joy and OSR experience to people who will love it and people who won't even know it, right? So it has these 5 incredible OSR minis, right? It has Alina, the BECMI cleric. It has Hank the fighter, Eric the paladin, Diana the rogue, and it has Presto the wizard in it. Okay, and these are, so this is all 1980s. It's like super. But so one of my incredible commenters explained to me, I didn't know who Alina was. I didn't know what the mini was, right? And one of my D&D 5e commenters, because he runs more D&D than he runs OSR right now. He's a D&D 5e dungeon master. He desperately desires to not be, but can't pull himself and get away from the game, which I find fascinating, right? He said, hey, that's Alina the BECMI cleric. He said, that's Alina the cleric. And then I went and I was like, oh my gosh, this is Alina the BECMI cleric. And I realized I didn't really understand what BECMI was, right? So I just want to give you so let's talk about BECMI real quick. All right. 1983, the basic box comes out. It is the red box. It is levels 1 through 3. Okay. Next comes the expert box. It is the blue box. Okay. It is, and it does levels 4 through 14. Next is the teal, and that both those two ones that I just mentioned, they come out in 1983. In 1984, okay, the teal box arrives. Okay, the teal box is the companion box. It is levels 15 to 26. Okay, in 1985, okay. The Master Rules box, it is a black box. The Master Rules black box drops, and it is levels 26 to level 36. Okay? In 1986, the gold box drops. It is the Immortal rules, and it is levels 37 to -00. Right? Now, that is 00 what? Yeah. There's a big question mark on what the highest level that you can reach in Dungeons & Dragons is under BECMI, right? This is absolutely fascinating. I did not understand that BECMI stood for Basic, Expert, Companion, Masters, Immortal, okay? And I did not understand that D&D BECMI was an entire box set rules edition. So you could play with nothing but these box sets, right? And you're getting an incredible, concise experience of rules, all that were printed while Gary Gygax was still at TSR, right? Literally every single one was under the time when Gary was there. I don't think it's real to even, I'm not sure he even saw all these boxes, the content in these boxes before they were printed. Because like, he was out trying to get a movie going, right? Like, so we don't really know his input from it, right? But it was all while he was at TSR, right? BECMI. And it kicked off by Frank Menser. And it's a huge part of Dungeons & Dragons history, right? And there's a lot of complexity behind it. So BECMI is pretty awesome. By the way, check it out. You can get the red box for about $80. You can get the blue box for about $80. You can get the it will cost you another $80 to get the companion. That's $240. It will cost you $180 to get the masters, right? And these are the costs as of May 2022. And then it will cost you $180. That's $240 plus $180. That's going to be $520, right? Hear it all the way through. No, I'm sorry. $240 plus $180. That's going to be. Hate saying this. It's going to be $420. Then it's going to be $380. Yeah. It's going to be. Yes. It will be $320 for the Immortal, okay? And that is going to run you a total of, so $420 plus $320, that's $740 for BECMI if you get it today. And I can tell you right now, those suckers ain't never going down. Never, ever, in my humble opinion, right? So it would cost you like $750 to get BECMI today. I'll bet you a week from now, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, could be $1,000. Right? Like, so I'm like, and I own the B and the E, but I don't own the C, the M, and the I. But I'm thinking about it. Right? So what's your experience with BECMI? I'd love to know what your experience with BECMI is. Have any of you ever played through it? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think about Dragon of Stormwreck Isle displacing the OSR completely and allowing 5e to claim the OSR crown, right? Because it's doing more OSR than even the OSR. I love this idea. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.